welcome to the third video, second review of the evening. Damn you, impressions is ruining the naming scheme. Anyway, up this time is Stardiver. Descend into the depths of an underwater world filled with wonder, mysteries, and peril. Fight to survive among unknown and dangerous species. Discover the story behind the abandoned base. Explore this submerged world and learn its history. Well, this is a bit of a departure. I'm not saying this is the first underwater game or anything like that, but they're a lot rarer than anything to do with a
Hmm.
spaceship.
Well, I have a fun theory about that, which is that there's a lot of stuff here that looks spaceshipy. So,
Hmm.
there's a non-zero chance that they initially started doing it in space, and then the controls were so floaty they decided to make it underwater instead.
It's easier
That
to
would
just
explain
add the
the
blue filter than just have it be inky black.
Well, they did use an underground or underwater uh, terrain and stuff, so it's not like it was. If so, it would have been relatively early in
Yeah.
development, I think.
yeah.
But that's
I,
definitely a possibility. But
it
I'm
is.
I'm just going based on like the fact that you have like lasers and a flamethrower as one of the possible upgrades for your thing. Like
Yeah,
they have an excuse for it, but where it's actually like
and
cavitating bubbles. Sorry, Adam, what were you saying?
I'm assuming this ship can also go into space because otherwise, why call it Stardiver?
You are on a different planet than you started on, I think. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, it
Yeah.
rolls
I'm
off the
not saying
tongue
you
well.
actually play those segments, but you don't call something Star Diver without having some sort of space connotations, or like you're on an actual star. Like there's got to be something of significance there.
I think you're getting a
Otherwise,
little too hung up on
um,
this, Adam.
Who knows?
yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway,
so I uh, will relay to you my experience with this game. I got it to be in its the windowed mode I prefer it to be in. Tried to use my controller, but find out my controller was broken for reasons unrelated to the game. So I did do the rest of it on keyboard and mouse. It is a 6 Degrees of Freedom game, so there's some benefit to using keyboard.
Mm,
Um,
and a joystick.
yeah. Looking over at
yeah,
my Sidewinder on my desk.
yeah. Anyway, the steering was I found myself oversteering a lot. I went through the initial 6 Degrees of Freedom movement tutorial and finding points and stuff, and then it tells you to go off to a base. I did that. The base is broken. They send you to find the AI that's supposed to be minding the base. I went over there. They get close. They say that the AI, their connection to the AI is jammed, so I have to look around for it myself. I spend approximately half an hour looking for it going way further away than I was supposed to. Look up a video, find out it was about 9 feet to my left, but I just didn't see it
Because
because
six
I'm not
degrees of
great at
freedom.
right. I'm not great at navigating in 6 Degrees of Freedom. I think I've regaled you guys with the story of me playing Descent once as a kid and spinning in place, shooting oncoming enemies for tens of minutes and never actually realizing that there was a forward button until I was told so.
I mean, yours is probably
Um,
better than mine of vomiting, but yeah.
uh So yeah, I did that. I backtracked and found out where I was supposed to be. Did that. Shot down some fish. Unlocked the mining equipment. Shot down some uh, undersea robot ships and scanned those. It is as you go through this, doing some decent story development stuff about okay, this is not the way the stuff is supposed to be. The wildlife is being made hostile. The ships, all the computers you find are completely empty. Like their computers and pilots are gone if they ever had pilots.
Mm,
Um, Go around, drill for resources in a couple of places. Get out of the ship to go into a cave, which I didn't know that from the stuff I read about the game beforehand. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. But you can get out and do short exploration on your own, but you don't have a whole lot of oxygen.
mm,
I almost got lost in the cave because, again, 6 degrees of freedom, and that's first person 6 degrees of freedom.
yeah. So it's kind of
You
like
do
a
have you do
Subnautica
have
mixed with Descent.
you do have for the normal ship you do have straight behind the back, left behind the back, right behind the back, which are a little bit closer in, and cockpit views. I kept the behind the back ones because that way I have better sense of like what's on around me and I ram
Yeah.
into stuff less. Um anyway, got the materials needed to repair the base, went back. It automatically repaired all of the buildings on that base, which I think you just get all of the ones on that base for free, and then there's another other bases you do one by one later. I'm not sure because otherwise that seemed like it was going to take longer.
Mm,
Checked out all of the facilities, built a couple of energy and supply refills, and then looked at the thing that lets you upgrade. Look at the thing that lets you change ships, and looked at some of those, but I couldn't unlock any of them because I didn't have the resources. And then I went to the thing where you can upgrade your ship, and there was one upgrade was unlocked, and it was a better gun. And so I looked through all of what was available, switched to the better gun, left, and as I was leaving, the game crashed. And frankly, it had not captured me, and the oversteering and not amazing uh, fire control and mining. The mining with a large node, the mining takes a long ass time and only poops out a thing that you can pick up every once in a while, and you do have to manually pick up the things that come out.
mm.
And if it's on a slope, they can roll
Was there
downhill.
any inclination of there being upgrades to make that easier, or?
When I got back to the base, they did say that there was some mining equipment that was located in a cave hidden somewhere nearby. And it does say something about later in the game you unlock the ability to basically get a remote thing that automatically mines an area while you
Mm.
go do other stuff.
So it's more like a Subnautica thing where the more you progress, you will unlock things to make
Yeah,
the salvaging
you're not
easier.
customizably building your own base, but you do have a lot of
Progression opportunities, let's say.
progression opportunities for resource gathering and stuff. And you can scan. You have a scan functionality that you unlock when you first get to where the lost ship was, and I tried to scan a bunch of things, and of the things I tried to scan, about 1/10 of them were actually scannable, and the other ones were just very colorful, glowing marine flora and fauna that did not merit other note.
Mm,
You do also have a operational ceiling, a pretty low one, which is stated in game to be unexpected. So I get that, but you can't get up super high and look around very well. Which I guess it makes sense. The water does keep you from seeing too far with much detail, anyway.
yeah.
Oh, that's another thing in the maybe this was originally a space thing. Uh, Pile is that the AI routinely refers to your navigation as flying, even though you are underwater.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I looked at other people's reviews of it, and apparently stability is a significant issue with this game.
Like game stability, not like.
Like, yeah, like it crashes a lot.
Mm.
So, yeah. It's kind of a cool. The underwater thing is nice. I actually like the ship design. Um, I'm slightly intrigued at the story, but the controls were way too imprecise for me.
Do you think something like this could be
And
sorted if you had, like, say, a flight stick or a working controller, or is it still just a
I
general?
feel like it's at least somewhat intentional that the steering is not precise.
Mm,
But steering
what,
with
fighting with
mouse look
current and
was not
stuff
helping me.
underwater and like stuff like that, or just the general viscosity of being in a fluid?
Yeah, some of I think there's some intentional driftiness to it.
Mm,
Like the AI talked about how there are powerful currents sometimes, and I don't know if that's just an excuse for. They said you could use them to travel faster, but I didn't find any that were helpful.
mm,
Um, so yeah, there's actually a decent amount of stuff about this that I liked, but my overall experience was not very good. I would like to try it with a flight stick or controller to see if that helps. But as it was steering with the mouse look, in order to get it to turn quickly, I had to go further than I wanted to and then overcorrect back and stuff.
mm,
And even in third person view, it's sometimes a little bit hard to judge your distance, which is funny because it should be easier to do that with the amount of ambient occlusion in water. I think that's the right term. But maybe I just wasn't adjusting too well. I don't know. So yeah, I can't give this much of a recommendation, but it does have some neat stuff that's might be worth checking out if it is a reasonable price and or on reasonable price sale. Adam, how bad is it?
14.99.
Okay, that's not nearly as bad as I expected.
Hmm.
It does seem like I did the video I found to try to figure out where the frickin' ship was said it's the full game and it was only a few hours, but obviously there's a lot more you can do in terms of just tooling around looking for stuff.
mm. Is there any like limited fuel or anything like that, or can you just go shoot down baddies if you want to for a while?
Um, the laser is infinite. Your boost regenerates. Your hull and shield seemed to regenerate at least from the amount that I was bumping into stuff and the couple of times I got shot at.
Mm,
Um, so I think you regenerate pretty well, and there are items that can repair you I guess faster,
mm,
which you can find in treasure chests in various places, which are at least high vis yellow, or make at one of the facilities in the base.
mm,
There's also a warehouse to store because you do have a somewhat limited inventory on your ship, but the warehouse at the base can store stuff that for completed things. I think your resource inventory is infinite because it would suck if it wasn't.
oh yeah.
That wouldn't stop some games, so I'm
Oh,
giving them credit for that.
or at least like one of those things where your scouting pack has limited slots.
Yeah,
Once you get to the
it at
base,
least seems
it
like you
dumps
can
into an
carry a
infinite pit.
lot of ore or whatever.
Yeah.
At least for the rate that I was getting it. So yeah, I'll give it a light recommendation, I guess, but it would benefit significantly from having the controls tweaked and also the code. Oh,
Mm,
did I also say it did also do the annoying thing where once it got to a certain point in the game starting thing, it reset itself automatically to full screen, but at least it reset itself to full screen on the screen that I'd moved the window to
mm,
instead of on. Because I prefer to
Hmm.
play games on my right screen, which is bigger.
Never trouble trouble until trouble troubles you.
hmm I'm just really annoyed at games that do that.
I think part of that's just an issue with multi-screen gaming on Windows. It's never been great.
Yeah, but when you set something to windowed, it should stay windowed.
I'm aware, but also how Windows deals with actual Windows themselves is a nightmare, and full screen content as well. We can get into that sometime, not right now in the middle of a
Fair
review.
enough, and I understand that that's the way that gaming often preferentially is. It's just not how I like doing things, and I know it is
Yeah.
more resource intensive
Yeah,
because your
Windows would
computer is doing
prefer
other
you to
stuff too.
use one large screen for gaming, as opposed to some multiple screens.
Yeah, well, I would prefer to have a YouTube video running on my other monitor, so we
Fair.
are at an impasse.
Anyway,
Anything else?
I think that's about what I got. It's a little bit rough. Don't play it if you don't like floaty controls or don't
or,
have a tolerance for crashes.
or motion sickness, cough cough.
Yeah, but there is some charm here.
Mm,
So yeah,
alrighty.
I appreciate that they tried and they didn't completely mess it up. So I think that's about it.
Okay then. So yeah, that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review Lanternium.